What if manipulation doesn't start when things go wrong, but when everything feels right? What if, from the very beginning, you are being tested? Most people think manipulation starts later, after trust is built, after problems appear. But in reality, it often starts at the very beginning, quietly, subtly, almost invisibly. Manipulators don't just act randomly. They observe, they test, they gather information about you, not by asking directly, but by watching how you respond. These are not big tests, they are small. So small that you might ignore them. A boundary is crossed slightly, a joke goes too far, a comment makes you uncomfortable. Something feels off, but not enough to react strongly. And that's the point. Because the manipulator is not testing your strength, they are testing your reaction. Do you speak up? Do you stay silent? Do you justify their behavior? Do you doubt yourself? Your response gives them information. If you ignore the discomfort, they learn this person will tolerate more. If you justify their behavior, they learn this person will protect me from consequences. If you doubt yourself, they learn this person is easier to control. This is how manipulation begins. Not with force, but with calibration. Let's break down the most common early tests. The first is boundary testing. They do something slightly inappropriate, not extreme, just enough to see what happens. Maybe they interrupt you repeatedly. Maybe they push for personal information too quickly. Maybe they make a comment that feels disrespectful, but disguised as humor. If you let it pass, the next boundary will be bigger. The second is emotional testing. They create small emotional shifts, hot and cold behavior, attention, then distance, warmth, then withdrawal. This is not random. They are watching how quickly you react, how much you invest, how much you chase. The third is value testing. They challenge your beliefs subtly, disagreeing in ways that feel dismissive, minimizing your opinions, seeing if you hold your ground, or adapt to keep connection. The fourth is consistency testing. They change plans, cancel unexpectedly, become unreliable, and then they watch. Do you accept it or do you respond? All of these tests have one purpose, to understand your limits. And once your limits are understood, they can be expanded. Now here is the most important part. These tests are not obvious. If they were obvious, you would leave. They exist in a gray zone, not clearly wrong, but not clearly right. And that gray zone creates hesitation. You start thinking, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe it's not a big deal, maybe this is normal. And in that hesitation, the dynamic is established. From a psychological perspective, this connects to conditioning. Small tolerated behaviors become the baseline, and over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes normal. This is how people end up in deeply manipulative situations without seeing the exact moment it started. Now, here's where Jung's perspective adds depth again. These early tests often activate unconscious patterns: your need for approval, your fear of rejection, your desire for connection. And if those needs are strong, you may ignore signals that don't feel right. So you're not just reacting to the other person, you're reacting to your own unconscious patterns. That's why awareness is powerful. So, how do you protect yourself? First, take discomfort seriously. You don't need proof. If something feels off repeatedly, that matters. Second, respond early, not aggressively, but clearly. I didn't like that. That doesn't work for me. Third, watch reactions. Healthy people adjust. Manipulators adapt strategically or escalate. Fourth, don't normalize inconsistency. Consistency is not too much to expect, it is the foundation of trust. And finally, don't ignore small things, because small things become big patterns. The truth is simple. Manipulators don't reveal themselves all at once. They reveal themselves gradually, through tests. And the moment you start noticing those tests, you stop being an easy target. Take your power back. Stay safe. Thank you for watching.